autism and PFAS. This is a topic that I haven't done a video on in a long time. I talked about it in the past and it always gets so many crazy comments and a lot of negativity, and so I don't talk about it, okay? However, PFAS are part of a whole group of chemicals called endocrine disruptors. All of these chemicals, they mess up your hormone system. And when a child is exposed to these chemicals, either in utero or during a child's development, right before they hit puberty, endocrine disruptors impact brain development. Like, that is unequivocal, and that is not even controversial. So if I say autism is caused by PFAS, that's inflammatory and not true. However, phthalates, BPA, PFAS, pesticides, all of those impact the endocrine system in the body, and to a developing fetus and small child, any sort of disruption to the endocrine system causes changes in the brain. And neurodevelopmental issues. And that has been shown over and over and over and over again. And what pisses me off about misinformation about vaccines causing autism is that it has actually taken away from the conversation. It has made this information get suppressed because it just sounds like someone's making it up and now everything causes autism. And just so you know, nothing causes autism. That is false. Okay? All of the data shows, and has for a long time, and it's only getting elucidated more and more, is that your genetics play a role, but genetics are definitely not 100%. And that is what a lot of people get pissed about whenever I do a video on this, right? People think it's 100% genetics. That is not true. Okay? There are many genes we've now identified could play a role potentially in the onset of autism or neurodivergence. However, just because you have that gene does not mean that it's going to express itself. It is certain environmental and lifestyle choices that will impact whether or not those genes express themselves. This information has been known for a long time. Endocrine disruptors are linked to autism and neurodivergence straight up. However, how much of a role it plays, that's more up for debate. There's also sex-specific differences as well. It shows up differently in girls than it does in boys. There's also lots of studies showing transgenerational effects, meaning a mother is exposed to these endocrine disrupting chemicals, it damages her genes, and then she passes down that increased risk to her child. Also have to understand, we're never exposed to just one of these chemicals in a vacuum. We're exposed to all of them all the time. And so between the mix of genetics, the synergistic toxicity of all of these chemicals at the same time, it's really hard to pinpoint and say that, you know, this specifically causes this. What we know, though, is that all endocrine disrupting chemicals have an impact on brain development. And so that is why I recommend to avoid plastic, because plastic is unequivocally your biggest source of these chemicals, straight up.